Precision Racing League proudly presents the American PS4 F1 Championship Series Season number 11, full-time drivers roster and team assignments. Alfa Romeo Sauber F1 team, two-time defending champion McSendit and Aaron Webb. Three-time defending manufacturer champion Mercedes AMG Petronas Motorsports, Marquesas and Buji Prime. Renault Sports Formula 1 team, Mystic Joker and Aerostrike. Scuderia Ferrari, Nick Dahi and Mebe. Aston Martin Red Bull Racing, J-Rod and Gordau. McLaren F1 team, K-Dog Honda and Oxful. Haas F1 team, Chappa and Prowler. Red Bull Toro Rosso Honda, Brian Mosser and Bubba. Racing Point Force India F1 team, Ranga and AB. Williams Martini Racing, Axton, Soldier 6. And that is your full-time drivers roster and team assignments for season number 11 of the PRL's American PS4 F1 Championship Series. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The Precision Racing League proudly presents your American PS4 F1 Championship Series. Tonight, for season number 11, round number 2, we are in Bahrain. But before we get into tonight's race, let's go ahead and take a moment. Let's take a step back and see what we missed last week in Australia. Is out there right now. Aerostrike is out there. Both Toro Rossos are out there. And here we go. He came out of the pits at the very end. We called him out. He is on the power rankings, even though he didn't race last season. Mebe jumps up P1. It's that these tracks also have extra DRS zones. McSendit goes faster, but falls short of Mebe. He's currently sitting P2. Dahi trying to get a little bit of slip off K-Dog. He appeared to be just a little bit too far ahead, but we're going to see what happens when Dahi crosses the line. Can he jump up there? Can he contend for the front row? Yes, he can. We talk. Oh, there is no parade lap. We are going into the race. And here we go. We're jumping back to Aerostrike real quick. Aero with a great run. Dahi falls off. Actually, Dahi, I don't know if Dahi was expecting that at all. I think a lot of these guys may have been expecting the parade lap. But now is the battle for third. We were talking about it. Dahi he attacked Aero. Aero coming in a little bit hot there to the right, left. Luckily, no harm, no foul. Now Aero's going to look to go onto the attack. Alright, and with the issues that Bubba had, he has dropped 2 spots and moved Aaron Webb up to 6, K-Dog up to 7. Oh, Bubba's dropping like a rock. And Bubba, that is really, really weird. So Bubba is spun in the same spot on the front stretch as J-Rod. So what it must be is that outside curbing. They're catching too much of it, possibly grass, and then whipping it to the inside pit wall. Bubba's right half of his wing is broken. Going back up to 5th place, K-Dog. Still stalking Aaron Webb, about a half second behind. Alright, we're going to actually go ahead and jump back. We were seeing this battle earlier, and now it is tightened up. Oh no, K-Dog is wrecked out. We got a wreck in the back as well. We got debris flying everywhere. Heartbreaker for K-Dog, but also Prowler, Soldier 6. On that fast bend, there was contact. into the wall. Wings are broken. Debris everywhere. Oh, just an absolute heartbreaker for 3 cars in a matter of a couple seconds right there. Now we got to go up front. Mebe has pitted and Mebe is shoving Axton off track. This is going to allow McSendit now to battle Axton. So a little aggressiveness there from Mebe, knowing McSendit is right on his tail after they have pit. Nick Dahi has inherited the lead. He has not pit yet. Axton has not pit yet. Chapa in 5th place has not pit yet, as he is bringing the fight to Axton. Here we go. So we were talking about all the different tire strategies playing out. Means guys are going to find themselves in parts of the track they weren't expecting to, and that's when traffic is coming into play. Aerostrike now in 5th place. He already made his pit stop. He's on softs. He's catching up to Chapa. Chapa on his original set of super softs, though. And Chapa stays out. He opened up the inside door. Aero's going to take it. We got a drag race down the front stretch. There we go. Battle time. J-Rod, his super softs are at the end of his life. Brian Mosser catching a little bit of wall. I didn't see any debris come off the wing, though. This is a battle for 6th place. These gentlemen were battling earlier in the race. Oh, no. Aaron Webb. As J-Rod went wide, Brian's going to overtake him. We're going 2 turns away. There is the left. As he goes past pit road, there is the right. And congratulations. First ride in the Ferrari. Career victory number 7. First time in many, many moons. It's going to be Mebe. McSendit crosses the line, P2. He will finish P3 as Dahi will inherit 2nd place after that time penalty is applied to McSendit. And there you go. There is all of the action that we saw from Australia last week. So, with that being round number 1, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the points. Obviously, the points are going to be how the drivers finished. Mebe, coming off that win, is your points leader. Teammate Nick Dahi in 2nd. McSendit 3rd. Aero 4th, J-Rod 5th. With Mosser, Bougie, Prowler, Bubba, and Axton rounding out your top 10 for the Drivers' Championship. As for the Manufacturers' Championship, Ferrari, coming off that strong 1-2, has a pretty sizable advantage right now over Sauber. Overall, 8 of the 10 teams were able to come out of Australia with a point. So this Manufacturer Championship, while it opened up early, it is definitely going to be a fight for every single position throughout the roster. If I didn't trip over my words. All right, now we've gotten 1 stint in. Some of the guys are making pit stops, getting a fresh set of tires. They're going to go out for stint number 2. So, while all that's happening, let's now go ahead and take a tour and get everybody in chat familiar with Bahrain. Located in Sakir, Bahrain is the Bahrain International Circuit. This is one of the raciest tracks that we have on the schedule. 1 lap around Bahrain will take you 3.363 miles, 15 turns, 4 decently long straights, and 2 DRS zones is going to make some for prime passing opportunities tonight. Coming off the final turn of Bahrain, you are going to want to carry as much speed as possible. This is the longest straight of the circuit. As we bypass pit road, you're going to begin your lap. Slipstream and DRS is going to be huge to make a move down into turn 1. As you're approaching 210 miles an hour, you're going to get hard on the brakes, get to the right. Now, turn 2 is a quick left-hander right after it, so you want to be able to kind of maneuver where you're not having to really get off the gas. Turn 3 is a bit of a bend. You really don't slow down, you floor it through. Now here's the second straightaway. This is going to take you into one of the hardest braking zones on the circuit for turn 4. You're going to accelerate out, bend a little bit to the left, bend to the left again. Now, off the accelerator, to the right, to the left for an elongated S. Veer off to the left side of the straightaway on the brakes and get to the right. Now this time you're going to veer off to the right side of this straightaway. We have a double apex left-hander coming up with a heavy braking zone. When you come out of turn number 10, now you're going to stomp on it. Here is DRS zone number 2. You're not going to hit top speed like you do on the front stretch. However, coming up on turn 11 will present a passing opportunity. Carry as much speed off as possible. You're going to veer off to the left. Now here we go. An elongated late apex right-hander. Little short shoot. And again, another right-hander where you're going to want to carry as much speed as possible. Now, this is not a DRS straight. However, it is the second longest in the circuit. So slipstream is going to be huge. You're going to carry a lot of speed going into the final turn. Hit your apex, get on the gas, give it everything you have, and you're going to be racing to the start-finish line. And that is a lap around the Bahrain International Circuit. Alrighty, now that we've went ahead and we've taken a tour around Bahrain, now we can start diving into the action. But before we start going through the lineup as it is after most of the drivers have made 2 runs, I have a very special announcement tonight. Very excited due to a wonderful, yet I have no idea what it is, Australian holiday. We have a guest in the booth tonight. One of my personal favorites, somebody that I've had a lot of fun doing this in the past with, Mr. El Majacco. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I'm so glad to be back. Let's just put it that way. Thank you for having me. That's first thing. And yeah, let's get into this. Only 4.5 minutes left in qualifying.
Yeah, so that's great because we have 18 minutes of qualifying, so I'm coming up with all these fancy things to not sit here and just blabber for 18 minutes. But so as we mentioned, some of the guys have already wrapped up their second stint. They're getting into or finishing it up now. They're going to have time to go around, get a fresh set, and then we're going to get the third stint, and that's the money lap. That's where we're going to see we're going to see it get shuffled and guys solidify where they want to be. Let's go ahead and talk right now. So, after 2 stints, Marquesas, last season, you know known as Odoms. Marquesas was the runner-up in the points last season. Unfortunately, missed Australia due to a PSN issue. He is back. He currently is sitting P1. Now, last time we were here, he did win the pole. And he finished 3rd, but was wheel-to-wheel with Mixendit in Sector 2 on the final lap when he scored a puncture. So, we know Marquesas is fast here. He's showing it right now. He felt like that was a race that kind of got away from him, even though it was an amazing battle. We'll see what he can do here. However, Mixendit is right on his tail within a 10th. So, both drivers are going to focus hard on that last stint. Again, too, Marquesas and Mixendit took every pole last season. Last week, that streak got broken with Mebe, our race winner. He finally ended the streak. So, these guys, there's a lot of pride in it. Plus, the track, getting that track position is going to be so huge. Currently sitting P3. The first time we were here in F1 2017, he won the pole and the race. We known him as Forza Alonso. He's back to his original name, the 3-time champ, Mystic Joker. All right, currently 4th. This is a name that nobody is familiar with because we have a fresh PRL debut, Diego. Right now stunning everybody, coming out of nowhere, sitting P4. He was fast in practice. He was mixing it up. This is going to be a wild card to watch tonight. And then right now, P5, Arrow Strike. Not a shocker. Arrow podiumed here last time as well. Actually, he scored his first podium here back in Season 9. So Arrow currently sitting P5. But again, everybody is getting that fresh set of tires on. They're going to go out for the last stint. There's 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock. So the guys who are leaving pit road now should be good. However, the guys who are just now pulling into pit road, such as Mystic, he is done. So he could do no better than P3. Arrow is left, he'll get another lap in. Guys who are crossing the start-finish line on this lap, they're going to get, they'll have the time for that one last hot lap, but then that'll be it. So now it is crunch time. We have 2 drivers, both Force India cars. Renga and AB have not put in laps. They're retired from the session, so the back row will be all pink. J-Rod, he is done. His Red Bull is currently sitting P10. A lady, a reserve driver, filling in tonight. He and the other Red Bull. He can do no better than P13. Now remember, with F1, the top 10 drivers will start the race on the tires they've qualified with. 11th on back will get a fresh set of tires of their choosing. So it'll be interesting to see here what happens with J-Rod. He's currently on the bubble. Maybe, I don't know about you, Jacko, but you probably never found yourself in 10th. I flirted with it sometimes. I would much rather start 11th and get that fresh set of tires than 10th. So I'm pretty sure
Absolutely.
J-Rod is rooting for Bubba or an Aaron Webb or somebody to knock him off right now.
I'm not sure if it's as important this game, given that overheating actually sort of tips you over the edge of needing to pit before wear does. But I'd still rather start with a fresh set and the choice, obviously, of using any of the compounds available.
Absolutely, and you brought up a great point about the overheating and the wear, because, I mean, we saw the podium strategy last week. Now, granted, Australia is a street circuit, was the one stopper. And then behind that, we were seeing 2 stops. So now with Bahrain, this track is known to eat up rear tires. So it'll be really interesting to see really how soon guys are coming in to pit on that first set of tires.
Absolutely. It'll be news to me as well, because I haven't had much exposure to this track yet. So it'll be good information for later leagues.
And now last time Jacko was jumping in the booth, we got spoiled. The Australian league was a day ahead of this league, so we got to pick his brain. We got to see everything that was going on, but not tonight. We're going to go on the fly. Speaking of flying, so Mebe has crossed the line. He has jumped up to P3. So he is a clipped Mystic, knocks Diego down to 5th. Bunch of drivers have already finished their laps. We've got Arrow in P6. He is out there. McSenda just finished his lap, and he went purple. A 25.8, almost 2/10 up on Marquesas.
But he's coming around the last corner right now. Will we see an improvement from the Mercedes?
The drag race is on.
Yes. Oh, it's close.
Good Lord. That is insanely close. As a matter of fact, we were going to look at the Delta. Qualifying is over as Arrow crossed the line. And there we go. Once again, in the final stint, the pole has been set. It was Mebe last week in crunch time. It's going to be Marquesas this week as he clips McSendit. As soon as we get it loaded up, we'll have the official breakdown. And there it is. By 17 1/1000ths of a second, Marquesas takes an early 1-0 lead on McSendit in the pole category. Mebe, last week's winner, starting P3, but we see a bit of a power gap between our top 2, and then we have a gaggle, if you will. So Mebe, Mystic, Diego, and Arrow are all going to be within about a 1/10.5. Dano, Dahi, Aaron, and Brian will round out the top 10. And we talked about it. J-Rod, he did get knocked down to 11th. So J-Rod is going to find himself on a fresh set of tires to start this race.
One other thing I did note on that screen was that we saw Dahi as the top soft compound runner in qualifying in 8th. So potentially a different strategy from him. Maybe a one-stop. We'll have to see how that pans out.
Well, Dahi's always been good on tire wear, so I would not be surprised if he's going for the one-stop, going on softs and then the mediums. We saw Aaron Webb try to
Because at this point, we don't know.
Well, of course. We saw Aaron Webb try to pull that off. He went, because last week at Australia it was ultras, supers, and softs. Aaron didn't even go supers. He went softs in qualifying, got top 10, and was trying to work that strategy until, unfortunately, turn number 12 was out for blood, turn number 11 was out for blood last week, and Aaron was one of the victims. So we'll see if Dahi has better luck on that alternate tire strategy from the start of this race. At this point, everybody is getting their fuel strategy set. Again, like we saw with last week, the fuel mapping is still there. However, it's not as important as the ERS. So the guys are making sure that they have enough fuel that they can still play around with, but really it's getting that tire strategy set right now. And there we go. The check marks are hit. We're going to get on the grid here in about 20 seconds. And unlike last week, we could talk about it. We had a bit of a confusion last week. Some guys were expecting a formation lap, and it wasn't there. We went green right off the go. So it caught Nick Dahi, who qualified second, off guard. He fell down to 6th, able to recover and get himself back up into second. So this time we do have the formation lap, and this will help us go through the field, be able to see the drivers in their cars in a less chaotic way than lap 1 like we saw last week. So not a shocker to see a silver bullet up on pole, but this season it's Marquez. McSendit in the Sauber, starting second. Mebe in the Ferrari, third, trying to make it 2 wins in a row off after ending a 15-month drought last week at Australia. Mystic.
Good grief.
Well, in his fairness, he only raced 4 or 5 races in F1 2017. So he was never a full-time driver, but still, 15 months between victories is that's something. All right. Speaking of something that it's going to take a little bit of used to seeing here. So Mystic in a Renault. Normally we're used to seeing him in the Ferrari red. They've gone Renault this season. Diego, the rookie out of nowhere. He's on the wait list waiting for a full-time ride. However, jumping in as a reserve tonight in the McLaren starting P5. The other Renault driver, Aerostrike, P6. Another reserve driver in the Haas this week, Dano, taking it up to P7, so a great qualifying effort for Dano. We mentioned Nick Dahi in P8 in the Ferrari. Not used to seeing Dahi down that far in qualifying. However, he took the soft tire. He's going on an alternate strategy. The second Sauber of Aaron Webb is 9th. And then one of the Toro Rossos, Brian Mosser, a great double points week last week for Toro Rosso. He's 10th. We're seeing some disqualification from Sessions, but anytime you make contact on a formation lap, it just shoots you to the grid. There's no harm, no foul. We're not worried about anybody here. I mentioned J-Rod. He's elected to go softs off the start. Bubba is going to go softs in his Toro Rosso. Aletti, a fill-in driver for Red Bull this week. He's going to go supers. Axton.
But the only one outside the top 10 on the supers. So there's a lot of alternate strategy going on outside of the top 10 that we can see mix it up.
We go to 15th place K-Dog. That's where we're going to see the mediums for the first time.
Oh, okay.
So and I've done this strategy myself because I was slow as hell in this league. The key to going that hardest compound first, as a matter of fact, Chapa in the Haas, he has got the mediums on as well, is you got to avoid that lap 1 wing damage. All right, I'm jumping on to 5th place. We're on top of the McLaren of our new driver, Diego. He's going to take us into turn 1 as the lights are out. Diego with a great jump. He is already side by side with Forza. Matter of fact, he is going to get Mebe as well. Marquez with a good start. He's going to hold back McSendit. Wheel to wheel, Mebe and Diego. This is for P3. Oh, I think it's a little bit of latency. I don't think that was real contact, but we have some latencies there. Give Diego P3. He's taking the defensive line going into turn number 4. And he's going to hold it. Well, actually, yeah, he'll hold it. Mebe with trying to make a strong move on the outside. With that little bit of slip up, though, that's going to open up the door for Mystic. He thinks better of it. He backs off. We got Renault's now running 5 and 6. Dano taking a peek as Aaron Webb is on the attack of Dano. There we go. Still wheel to wheel. The Haas and the Sauber. Dano had the preferred line. He's going to be able to hold the position off. Nick Dahi has dropped a spot. Brian Mosser holding on to 10th right now. He's got his teammate Bubba right behind him. Everything's starting to jockey out in this first lap. Our top 2 has stayed the same. Now look at Diego, though, in 3rd. Not too far back. A half second behind McSendit, well within DRS that we're going to see here in 2 laps. Looking at our position change now. Bougie has made up 3 spots. He's the early hard charger right now. We've had Axton drop a couple. Chapa, Soldier 6 drop a couple. Doesn't look like anybody really had any big-time issues. There was no hard wrecks on that first lap. Oh, and here we go. Dahi is back on the move now. Wheel to wheel with Aaron Webb. This is the battle for 8th. Slipstream is a factor. No DRS yet next time around. There we go. Going into turn 1. Dahi's going to clear. Oh, no! That was Bubba, who had some big-time wheel spin. Able to hold on to her, though. Absolutely nuts. He's under attack from Aletti and J-Rod. So we have Toro Rossos and then a couple Red Bulls, and we've got 3 wide. I'm not sure if Aletti maybe touched Brian there, but that was crazy. Matter of fact, here comes J-Rod on the inside with a triple overtake. Absolutely nuts.
All of these Red Bull backed cars, by the way.
I was about to say, this is an incredible battle of four cars that really would be one big team. Absolutely nuts. Nobody is caring about a team right now. It's about that 10th spot and getting that final point here in lap number
Issues
2.
for Mystic up front. He just dropped a couple of positions. He was 5th, now 7th. Didn't catch what happened, though.
Yep. Great call out. So Mystic down 3, plus he's fallen back to Dahi and Aaron Webb. There's 2 seconds now between Mystic and Dano, who is now up into 6th place.
Difficult to tell if there's any damage, but it looks fine.
We've got a sector 2-3 yellow.
Might that be Ranger?
And
yeah,
that's going to
he's
be
facing the
Ranga.
wrong way.
You know, and that
Looks like it may have hit the curb coming up the hill, potentially.
really, yeah, I would guess that is it, because, I mean, you know, with everybody else, like, that really long right, it is so easy to hit one of those curbs and disturb your car and just whip it around. That curb is that turn is a lot challenging than it looks.
Certainly is.
All right, up front, lap number 3, DRS is going to be activated. The second DRS zone is going to be our first one coming off turn number 10. McSendit 0.6 back. However, he was able to gap Diego. Diego is 1.1 seconds behind, so he is, if he cares enough about DRS, he's got to go for a late break, try to make up that time real quick. It's going to be really close at the scoring line.
Not quite, I don't think.
No, I think he just missed it by a fraction.
Yeah, the window's not open.
Yep, and McSendit did get it. He did gain about 1.5 on Marquez's. I'm going to do that a lot this race. All right, as we go down through the field, the gaps are starting to spread a little bit. We're seeing a lot of guys around that 1 second, but now I'm seeing arrows change. Again, Brian Mosser's involved in the battle, but this time it's not with the Red Bull clan, as he just got passed by Bougie for 13th. He's under attack from Axton. Brian's going to hold on to the position right now, as McSendit goes purple as he's trying to close in on Marquesas.
He's very close. He might go to the outside here at turn 1. Ooh,
in fact, let's get the camera out there.
Very close behind, though. Sideways from Marquesas. Ooh, that could have been destruction of the wall if he continued on that trajectory.
He was able to hold it. McSendit was able to close back in. He didn't really, he moved out half a car length. It wasn't really taking a true peek. Maybe seeing if he can keep Marquesas honest. Oh no, I think this is going to be Aaron Webb, that sector 1. No.
Yeah, he's definitely fallen back.
He's fallen back. It wasn't a spin. See, and it's so hard to tell now with the halos if there's wing damage.
For sure, yeah.
Doesn't appear to be. Oh
dear.
Well, unfortunately, we can't see where his car is. It won't let us go to him on the track, but Ranga is going to be our first DNF. Ranga, who was top 10 in points last season, is not getting the start to the season that he wants. This is 2 straight DNFs to start off season number 11 for the Force India driver. So tough break for Ranga. We saw the spin earlier. This time, I'm not sure where he was, but it got him good, unfortunately. Okay, up front, Marquez is starting to spread it out a little bit. McSendit's really got to get a good slipstream, use that DRS, try to close up now. 0.7 of a second back for Marquez, who's trying to keep the Sauber out of DRS zone. And we've got an early pit, and this is Dano. All right.
Could it be for damage, potentially?
We're about to see.
No, it looks strategic. There's no wing change.
Nope. So an early pit stop, 4 laps on those super softs. Now he's going to softs. So we'll have to see how that plays out for the fill-in driver. Now, one thing that's going to work in Dano's favor is, well, he's going to have AB right there. If he can get around the second Force India driver quickly, he'll have a lot of open track in front of him. See, he was trying to make a new move early, almost had the car slide out from under him as the tires are a little bit cool, but now he's going to make the pass. So Dano is going to try to utilize that open track. So when everybody else comes into pit, we'll see what happens with this first undercut.
But you will note that there is an issue for anyone who wants to do the undercut up front, in that they'll come out right in the middle of the pack, potentially not gaining anything at all as they have to make passes.
Correct.
So
That's what Marquez, Mixendit, and Diego have to really think about. Even Mebe, who's in 4th, Arrow in 5th, these guys will find themselves in traffic as Mixendit poked a nose in there.
Very close, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
This might be a move with DRS and a bit of Urs. He's in overtake, we can see.
Marquez is protecting that inside line. Renga joins us in Twitch chat. Sorry to hear that, brother. There we go. Wow.
Oh, bit of contact.
With strong outside run from Mixendit.
It's not over yet. There could be a move into the next turn. It's a hairpin.
Mixendit.
Look at the inside defense.
I was about to say, he is hugging that inside. He is not letting Marquez take a peek. However, the over-under is, not quite there. It was close. So here we go. The pass for the lead happened on lap number 6. Mixendit taking the top spot away from the Mercedes.
I really wish we could compare the heats of the rear tyres of each of those two drivers to see what's happening here.
It would be nice if they gave us the tire breakdown on the broadcast. Remember that, Codemasters. Now, with this battle,
Diego
too...
brought in. Yeah.
Exactly. Those two going wheel to wheel for several turns. Diego is now in it. A half-second back of Marquez, well within DR... Ooh. A little bit of oversteer there out of the McLaren driver. Has to collect it up. He's going to lose a 10th, but still within DRS.
Here's a question for you. When was the last time we saw a debutant win or get a podium in APS-C?
Oh, good lord. I can't... I would almost guess Mixendit, but I think he finished 4th in his debut race.
Would have been Spain, season 8.
The infamous track limits race. And the beginning of the Mixendit Mebe war of season 8 that lasted 5 races. All right, here we go. We have a battle back for 6th place as Mystic is falling behind now. He has just been overtaken by Nick Dahi. Dahi getting the most. Of course,
he's on the soft tire.
Exactly. He's getting the most out of that hard tire earlier in this race, though. Mystic trying to fight back, not quite there. It's so hard to even try to attempt a move there in that elongated S. So he did the smart thing, didn't want to risk a wing.
Something to note here is that Marquez is outside of DRS from Mixendit. Now really under threat from the McLaren behind, who has the DRS. And is looking at the inside, not quite.
I think to your point earlier, we might be seeing our first sign of tire heating. Because we know Marquez, he has speed, and right now it is going away from him. And
Look at the rear end, it's just not sticking with him at all.
You know
he
what?
Might have to pit this lap.
From that camera angle too, you can see the wear on those rear tires. There's a definitive line going on right there, so he is definitely having tire issues, especially on the rear.
And Diego makes it stick into the last turn.
And here he comes.
And of course, there he is, into the pits, Mercedes, first of the front runners. As Aaron Webb retires, what's happened there?
We're going to jump on Dano. There's Aaron Webb. It was that long right-hander. Aaron must have caught curb, ate the inside wall, and that's going to be it. 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
2 weeks in a row for that Sauber driver. Last week was having a much better run in Australia. Was hoping to get into the points tonight, but unfortunately, victim number 2. And a safety car!
Good grief.
What? It's alive! Jacko, this is the first time I've seen a safety car.
I've never been so excited on this game. What's happening?
We sacrificed 6 guys at Singapore and couldn't get a safety car. And Jacko, Marquez is just pits. That is going to cost him so much track position.
He just overtook K-Dog and had to let him back through. So obviously there was some yellow flag overtaking going on there, but I think it's been sorted out. No penalty awarded.
Nope.
It really remains to be seen as to what happens with the Delta. I think he might not lose too much ground, actually.
No, I think he's definitely going to gain a few spots back, but he might fall. It's hard to tell because it's the first time we're going to see it. He might fall into that 5th to 6th category. I don't know if he's going to make it all the way back up to the top 3. This is going to work out.
He wasn't the only one. Aerostrike also pitted that lap. So that was another of the front runners who might be caught out.
Absolute heartbreaker there. Aero should get back up into the top 10, though. But this is... Actually, you know what? This is going to... I don't know if this really hurts or helps Nick Dahi, who raced his
I
way
think it
up to
voids his
fourth.
strategy a bit. Yeah, I think it voids his strategy.
It really does, but
there's no reason to stay up. Oh, actually, there is, because his teammate's pitting right in front of him.
And we just saw our first penalty because of a safety car. This is a heartbreaker. This is going to be J-Rod. Got caught speeding under safety car. He has to do a drive-through. So tough break for the Red Bull driver, who is currently 6th. And here we go.
Hopefully, Dahi does not lose any spots as a result of that small stack. It looked like the team wasn't quite ready for him, but both Ferraris were serviced, and they're both trying to go the pit lane right now.
Now, one person who is not letting this affect his strategy is going to be K-Dog, who started on the softs. So Marquesas was able to gain up a bunch of positions back. What's going to help Mixenda and Mebe? And did Diego have to get a wing change? He fell down to 6th. But Mixenda and Mebe now have K-Dog on the hardest compound with some laps on it, with Odoms behind him. So they're hoping that maybe if K-Dog can hold Odoms off for a couple turns, that's going to help our top 2 break away here. Try to get
the
our
only thing I
pulse
can think of
further
for
back.
Diego is that he may have had to change wing, or he may have been held as lots of cars were coming through the pits at once. It may have been the case if he couldn't get out safely.
You're exactly
So we'll have
right.
to
That could
review
have been
with
it.
him. Very unfortunate, though, because he's lost out to Aero and Marquesas. And Meb, of course.
Well, we'll consider the Marquesas one a wash, because those guys were pretty much wheel to wheel as Marquesas
True,
entered
true.
the pit. So, but yeah, Aero able to gain the position on it. Man, this is like the nerdiest thing I've ever been excited about. The Mercedes GT3 is on the track.
One thing we have to note, though, is that Aero, Diego, and Dano are on softs, so they likely have to make another pit stop. Not sure about the medium runners, though. Oh, obviously K-Dog does, because he started on them.
Correct. K-Dog
But-
definitely has a pit
yeah.
in him. You're right. Mixenda and maybe it'll be close. I mean, they're going to look at 20 laps, depending on when the safety car pulls in, on those mediums. So I think they can, but they're going to have to dedicate themselves to making it work. Same thing with Marquesas, except he is going to have to use a little bit of tire early. He has got to get out of that McLaren. And then Aero, Diego, and Dano, to Majako's point, on the softs. They're definitely going to see another pit stop. Nick Dahi jumped to the mediums. I'm pretty sure that was going to be his plan all along, except he was not planning to pit that early, I take it.
I'd say so, and he's lost the benefit of the end of that stint as well, unfortunately, for the Ferrari driver.
Yep, and then J-Rod with that penalty drops down to 9th, though. The camera shows him on supers, but he's on mediums. And then Mystic, really shocker at the start that he's had after qualifying 4th. He is down to 10th now. All right, I'm not shocked to see this at 11th. Now, Bubba was top 10 before the pit stops. Of course, with Aero and Marquesas jumping up, that knocked him into 11th. Bubba elected to go with super softs. I love Bubba, and I love Brian. That Toro Rosso team is not known for tire conservation. So, Bubba throwing on the supers. I assume he's going to try to get as many positions as possible. I think from here, though, I don't know. It'd be close if he goes super and then soft, or he goes supers and then mediums.
We'll have to pay attention to that, keep an eye on this space. I don't have any insight into their strategy, even though I am on Toro Rosso myself in the Pacific League.
Well, unfortunately, we're getting this information from Aaron, who wrecked out, but Aaron says that the medium drivers can make it. So that'll then be really...
Oh no, Marquesas left the session.
What happened? He must have disconnected. The car is still there. AI is driving it around, so he didn't retire. He just left the session. We'll see if he can come back in. Now, when the AI takes over, as we've seen in the
Safety
past,
cars are in this lap though, so
lights
that's
are
horrible
off.
timing.
Yeah, and to be honest, this car is going to go slow as hell. Is it pulling off? Nope. Okay.
No, I think
There's a little
it's
bit
keeping
weird
up
there.
until the green flag. Yeah.
This timing couldn't be worse for Marquesas and couldn't be better for Mixenda and Mebe. Marquesas is going to get eaten up until he hops back in this race. This is going to look good for Aerostrike, who actually, no, this is going to be bad for Aerostrike, who has to wait. He cannot pass. The leaders have gone. McSendit!
Oh.
What happened to McSendit?
What the heck's going on?
Ranga has left session. Soldier 6
Soldier
is
6
retired.
It's all kicking off. I have no clue what's happening. Marquesas is back.
Marquesas has rejoined.
Positions.
Not sure what happened to two-time champ McSendit, who is now at the bottom of the order. Let's go up top. Mebe, and Marquesas has left session again. He's having connection issues. So Mebe has the lead.
Nick Dahi in the background. He's off the track.
So Nick loses all that track advantage he has right now. He falls back to 15th. Mebe looking to try to gap right now as K-Dog is up in second place. I don't remember the last time we saw McLaren's running second and fourth, though there's that old tires of K-Dog. He slid. This is going to allow Aero to get a strong run. Aero's easily going to take P2. As Marquesas tries to join once again, Diego, second McLaren in line. He was running second before the safety car came out. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, but I didn't see any debris. So I think Diego may have gotten away with it there.
He makes the move stick up into P3. Not really great teamwork there, I wouldn't have said, but there's no harm, no foul, as you would say.
One guy that we were talking about who wanted to make moves early has. We missed it because of all the confusion happening up top. It is going to be Bubba in P6 looking to make a move on Dano in P5. We've got some Sector 2 yellows going on. Not sure what that is right now. It's going to be AB. Unfortunately, those tires are extremely overheated after those spins, and he cannot get it back together. McSendit.
Bubba going for it now into 5th. Could it be 4th? 2 in 1 corner from Bubba.
The Toro Rosso flexing the muscles. Oh, he went
Oh,
wide.
he gets a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, he went wide, and I wonder if he's got to get that position back as well.
I think he completed it. He went off the track after the move was complete, so I don't think he has to worry about giving it back.
All right, well, Bubba's got to get it under control now. Yeah, great move. He has a great run going right now. He's got to limit it. He cannot afford another penalty if he wants to walk out of here with a potential top 5. K-Dog now falling hard. I mean, he started on those softs, but he's got 11 laps on him. Those things are far from fresh. And we see him dropping all the way down to 6th. He's got Mystic right on his tail right now.
I think we have to call out the most unexpected 14th, 15th, and 16th we've ever seen. Dahi, McSendit, and Marquesas, all out of the points currently. Of course, Marquesas.
I'm pretty sure if we were doing fantasies, that might be people's pick for podiums right there. Like, that is absolutely nuts to see that. Well, we understand Marquesas is because of a connection issue. Still not sure what's up with McSendit. Oh, Aaron Webb. McSendit has wheel issues. So, unfortunately, we've got a technical glitch for McSendit. And then Dahi, then, in 4th place, is the only one who can really try to race his way back up. DRS is re-enabled again after the safety car, as Aerostrike is starting to stalk his former team. He's closing in on that Ferrari. The problem with...
he needs to.
He
has to pit again.
The problem with Aerostrike and with Diego and Bubba is they all have to pit again. Right now, Mystic, sitting in 5th, is looking good on those mediums. Though he is under attack. Here comes Dano on this faster tire. Give it to the reserve driver in the Haas. He's going to take P5 away from Mystic. K-Dog.
I think you have to give Mystic credit, though, for just allowing it to happen, knowing he has the preferred strategy towards the end of the race.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely driving a points race tonight. He's not worried about trying to hold every position with, absolute intensity. He's racing smart, knows when to use them, when to save them, especially with the issues with Marquesas and McSendit and Dahi. Mystic's looking really well at a podium. He's just got to keep that front wing intact. All right, and it looks like K-Dog has kind of gotten himself a little bit together now. Fell down to 7th, but he's holding strong right now. He has a Letty coming up on a fresher tire, though. Brian Mosser has jumped up into the points as he goes wide out of turn number 13. Chapa, who was looking really good last week in Australia until a late DNF cost him. He is in the points right now. And we have got purple out of our rookie driver as he's making a move on Aero for second. Arrow with a strong outside run. He's going to hold second for now. Again, the sense of urgency on Arrow, Diego. We see Bubba starting to creep in on the fastest tire on those super softs. Mebe right now is just not even worried about how they're gaggling up behind him. Run smooth. Get those mediums to the end of this race. Bubba closing in. I believe next lap, Bubba will be within DRS range. He's already gained a couple tenths this lap.
Having a look at Nick Dahi and Mixon, it looks like there is still points on the cards for those guys, given how close they are to P9. Massive train behind Brian.
Yeah, it's looking like McSendit might still have wheel issues, but he's able to recover a little bit. And as you mentioned, P9 on back. It is a train starting to form. Everybody is within DRS of each other behind Brian Mosser. There it is, 6 cars, excuse me. Wow, Jacko's keeping an eye on that. We're going to jump up to third place. It's Diego with DRS. However, Arrow has DRS on Meb. Whoa! Huge late break by Diego.
Great job not to hit Meb as well in the Ferrari, which would have been quite an easy thing to do.
I think at this point, Diego knows it's like he doesn't care about this set of tires. It's only going to take him so long anyway. Absolute ballsy move there out of the McLaren driver, making it stick for P2.
I think Fuji just got absolutely mugged by 3 cars in the first complex. Oh, there's contact. I think he's gone around. Yeah, he went into the side of McSendit.
So Buji losing spots now on that super soft. It's not working out for him after the safety car. McSendit now trying to bring the fight to Axton. Axton is tucked in right behind Nick Dahi. Axton last week had a rough race, had a couple driver errors, couple wings, after a strong preseason, including a podium at France. So not exactly the results that Axton wants right now. He expects to be up racing for the points as he loses P12 to McSendit. And up front, we had an issue. Oh my God.
Holy moly. Aleti, I think, may have flipped him. I'm not sure.
It was really close.
Certainly got a penalty trying to avoid it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, tough break for Aleti. Bubba having such a good run there, just pushed those supers too much. It's, again, that long right-hander that's causing so much issues tonight. And Aleti with a terrible run out of the final corner. He gets eaten up by K-Dog. Bubba, we've got 3 wide on the front stretch as Chapa going for a triple overtake, trying to get that house. There he goes, up into 5th. Aleti was trying to take a peek. It's not there. So give Chapa 5th, K-Dog in 6th. Aleti is going to hold off Brian Mosser right now. There's Nick Dahi and McSendit behind him. They got around Axton and Dano. Matter of fact, excuse me, Dano pit. So Dano and Bubba pit. Brian Mosser goes extremely wide. Nick had to make an evasive maneuver. He didn't know where he was. McSendit's tucked in behind Brian Mosser now. This is a great camera angle. This game should use it more. I can see things. McSendit took a peek. It's not there.
But there it is. They are in the points, both McSendit and Nick Dahi, now 9th and 10th. So there'll be some reward, hopefully, if their pace continues in this direction. And
McSendit still has points to gain, or positions to gain too. He is on that medium tire. He can go the rest of the way. It's just
how
far
8th
back.
Place.
Yep, just a nice solid move on Brian. Brian doesn't worry about fighting it too hard. So there you go, McSendit up to 8th. Now he's looking to chase down Aleti, who's right behind K-Dog, who's right behind Chapa.
Potential move for the lead here. Diego only 3/10 behind the Ferrari. No defense from Meb. I think he realizes the strategy is in his favor anyway. Rookie takes the lead.
And there we go, and I was distracted. We missed the pass. Thanks, Jacko, for catching it. J-Ron in chat is saying the safety car is still bugged. He did a drive-through every lap after the safety car, and it did not credit. So that is not good. We're going to have to look into that. So J-Rod, after a promising start to this race, unfortunately, parked his Red Bull, and he will finish 17th tonight. All right, Diego now has gotten around Mebe, and he is going to probably literally drive the wheels off this car now, knowing he has to make as big of a gap as possible.
He's looking at coming out around 11th, I'd say, if he pits at this point. So not the greatest outlook, although a lot of other drivers have to pit as well.
Right, so we're going to see Aero pit, Chapa's going to pit, K-Dog is going to pit, even though he's on the medium. That's his original tire, so K-Dog will pit. As he makes a move on Chapa, K-Dog showing there's a little bit of life still in that tire. Aleti is going to follow K-Dog. Here comes McSendit. McSendit thinks it's better than going on the outside right there. Chapa trying to bring the fight back to Aleti. McSendit with a strong over-under. There's wheel-on-wheel contact, but McSendit holds it. Chapa holds it. Chapa's going to lose another spot to Nick Dahi. So McSendit and Dahi now up to 7th and 8th. Both these drivers on that medium tire, not looking like they're going to have to pit again. And up in front there, 3 wide in front of Dahi. Aleti to the inside, McSendit in the middle, K-Dog on the outside, getting eaten up right now. McSendit's going to try to make it a 2-on-1. We'll see how Aleti can defend. No, Aleti's going to hold it. No, he goes wide. And I think there was a little bit of tire bump between K-Dog and Dahi. That's going to allow Chapa to get around Dahi. And now here comes Axton to the inside of Dahi as they go into the hairpin. McSendit's still trying to fight Aleti on the outside. We're on top of the Ferrari.
Oh, he just about comes across the front.
McSendit
great move.
Finally clears him. McSendit now has open track in front of him as K-Dog is bringing the fight to Aleti. Chapa right behind him. Axton right behind him. Dahi stuck in 10th place right now. Jacko, this is absolutely nuts.
Meanwhile, the Toro Rossos are right together and 12th and 5th, both having made a pit stop recently.
Yep, Bubba 2
and
laps.
The mediums on one and the softs on the other. So that answers your question from earlier.
And you know what? Here comes a heartbreaker because I was noticing this too. Mystic is closing in. He has actually been faster than Mebe. He is closing that gap, but Mystic just got hit with a 3-second penalty.
Oh, Aleti's had an accident, spun it at the same location up the hill, possibly on the curb.
Here comes the
damage as well.
Here comes the first pit, and it's going to be Aero Strike. And then tough break for Aleti as Jacko called it out. Broken right front wing on that Red Bull. He had to pit again anyway, but unfortunately he just lost a huge chunk of time before he made that pit stop.
New front wing for Aero, so he must have lost a chunk at some point.
Oh, that makes it even worse for Aero, knowing he was going to lose all this ground plus an extra 5 seconds on top of it. Let's go back to the gaggle.
Yeah, he's taking a new front wing and a penalty. Look.
All right, Axton got around K-Dog for 5th place. K-Dog still tucked in behind him. Chapa's right there. Dahi now, due to the pit stops, has moved up to 8th. McSendit's 4th, 12.5 seconds back of Mystic.
So Aero's out in 10th with about 6 seconds in front of him of clear space to Dano.
All right, so that's going to work out for Aero. He'll be able to run those tires as hard as he wants, knowing that we still have Chapa to pit, K-Dog to pit. Dano is gonna be, he should be good on those soft tires. Just 3 laps on him.
I'd say so.
All right, our gaggle is starting to spread out a little bit. It's been an absolutely insane last 5 laps with these guys. But Axton is starting to break away. We see
maybe it's starting to close back in on the leader though, with the tires now swinging back in his favor.
Yep, 11 laps. We've been seeing around the 12 lap mark for those soft tires. So I wouldn't be surprised, Diego, you might bring that McLaren in this next time around. But from this point, he will be able to go on supers though. As K-Dog finally brings it in the McLaren, he went 19 laps on his original set of mediums, which originally was looking like it may work out in his favor for track position, though. He got swallowed up big time in the beginning of the run. Cost him a lot of track time. He's got fresh tires. He's out. He's elected to go softs, though. He's not flirting with the supers. Brian Mosser's drag racing down the front stretch with Bubba in tow. This is for the final point spot. Brian's going to take him. Can Bubba get around K-Dog? No, he can't. He tried for an over-under, but it wasn't quite there. there was a little bit of contact, but I didn't see any debris come off of Bubba. So K-Dog, oh, Bubba back on the attack though. Now Bubba's gonna get him. K-Dog on that fresh set of softs though. It'll take about a lap for him to get to preferred temp, and then he's gonna look to take the fight to the Toro Rossos. Mebe is starting to fall back though.
Yeah, small slip up from Meb. Although I think he's starting to get it back though.
Yep, but at this point, Meb is gonna be fine because, you know, Diego, I'm surprised actually Diego hasn't pitted yet. You think he's trying to stretch it out to go supers for that last stint?
It's entirely possible.
So, and then Forza, pretty much around we'll call it 2 seconds flat behind Mebe, but the 3-second penalty as well. And I do not believe Mebe has one.
Well, I can check that. Let's have a look. Incidents.
Oh, that's right. See, I've got to take advantage of the spoils of having Jacko here. As Aerostrike on this fresh softs just went purple. He was the fastest lap of the race last week.
A Lady has 3 seconds, Mystic has 3 seconds, and Bubba has 6.
Ah.
As far as I can tell.
All right, so it's looking good for Mebe right now, trying to make it 2 in a row. Mystic's still closing in. It's now down to 1.5 seconds, but he's got to make the pass, and then he's got to gain 3 seconds. And they're both on the same tire. All right, going through the field, starting to spread out a little bit after this safety car-induced set of pit stops that we just went through. The closest battle we have is K-Dog. Again, on those fresh softs. Bubba goes wide. K-Dog takes a peek. Bubba, though, going wide, was able to get that speed advantage. He's going to hold the position for now. Though this time...
Diego pits. Yep.
This time...
Surely the super soft tire.
Let's see on the McLaren as he comes down. Yep, there's the reds. So Diego is going to absolutely fly here at the end of this race. He's got to be careful, though. If he's going to be that much faster than anybody else, he has got to protect that wing.
It looks like he may come out in, 5th place. Yep. So, well, probably 4th he's looking at here.
Yep, he's going to come out behind Axton. And if he can make quick work of the Williams driver, he's really looking at 6.5, maybe probably about 7 seconds by the time he can make that pass behind McSendit, who's on some worn-out mediums. He would have to go about 1 second a lap faster than McSendit if he wants to battle for a podium here in his debut race.
Mystic, though, has the gap down to just over 1 second to the lead. So that could be a fight, even maybe without the penalty, just to get to the line first.
Whoa, we just talked about protecting that front wing, and Diego just did get the last little bit of the break he needed not to run into the back of Axton. The drag race and the second DRS straight, not much of a race, as Diego is going to easily take that position. Axton tucks in right behind him, though, but on those worn-out tires, really has no fight to give at the moment. But because it took longer than expected, Diego is almost 8 seconds back of McSendit. So he is going to have to gain just about 1.5 seconds a lap if he wants to look at a podium.
Arrow all over the back of Nick Dahi. I'm not sure if we missed something there, but I don't think they were together all that long ago.
No, Arrow.
Did Nick lose out?
No, Arrow on those fresh tires. He was, I believe, 6 seconds behind Dahi when he exited the pits. So this
was Dano. So Dano's cleared Dahi.
Oh, yeah, you're correct. So here we go, Arrow. Not much of a fight again. Nick knows the advantage going on with the tires. Arrow's going to make it P7 as K-Dog has finally gotten around Bubba. And Bubba's now under attack from Chapa. The Haas and the Toro Rosso drag racing down the front stretch. Haas has position, but Bubba going with the late break. Oh, a lot of curbing there. Too much tire spin. Chapa, though, with a terrible corner cut, so that's going to hold off that battle for just a few moments here. As Bubba's going to get some room. Now K-Dog holds that final spot. He's got 3.5 seconds to make up on Brian Mosser if he wants to try to gain that extra point. Coming to the line, it's Going to be 6 laps to go this time around. Mystic has caught Mebe. It's another thing. It's one thing to catch. It's another thing to pass. And then it's another thing to gap 3 seconds that Mystic need. I think the only thing at this point Mystic's hoping for is maybe he can pressure Mebe into a slip up. And if Mebe gets a 3-second penalty of his own.
Fastest lap there for Diego. Has to be expected on those tyres this late in the race.
I was about to say, absolutely no shock at all right there. The only driver on fresh supers. Well, I guess Chapa back in 12th, but Chapa's involved in a pretty heated battle, so he's not going to be able to put down a full heater. As he gets around Bubba, that was for P11. Chapa now about 3 seconds behind K-Dog. K-Dog's trying to catch Brian for 9th. Chapa seeing if he could use that tire advantage to catch K-Dog for that final point. We'll see how that comes out here in 6 laps.
The gap's down to 2/10 up front.
Yep. Mystic
get excited.
All over the back of Mebe out of the second DRS zone. Both these drivers on their 15th lap on these medium tires. Now we have to mention it. Now, granted, we can't see their tire wear. But last time here at Bahrain, it was mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Marquez and McSendit racing wheel to wheel on the final lap. Both knowing tires were an issue. Marquez is just pushing it to the absolute limit, punctured his left rear.
Whoa, contact.
Yep, as they're wheel to wheel in the first turn. And nope, Mebe is not cleared. Mystic still fighting hard on the outside. Out of the hairpin, still not cleared. Do they make it too wide through this section? No, they don't.
Ooh.
Mystic thinks better of it. Wants to keep that wing intact. But man, he is all over the back of Mebe right now. Mebe has to hold him off too. He can't allow Mystic to get free reign. As we hop on board with the Renault. The second DRS straight. He's gaining quick. He's going to go for a late break.
Ooh,
and he's got
contact,
it.
I think.
He's going to do it this time. He has cleared Mebe. We'll see if Mebe
has the opportunity to fight back down the main straight with DRS as well.
Exactly, and this is the second longest straight they're on right now, so the slipstream is going to be good here. He's going to be able to close in a little bit. We'll see where he's positioned at come turn 1. Mystic with a good run out of the final corner, though. There's DRS. And right away, Mystic goes to that inside line. Look at that run.
Speed difference must indicate that there's some sort of downforce advantage.
I was about to say, they are definitely running different wings. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That Ferrari just flew. So trading the lead back and forth. Mebe back up front again. At this point, Diego, we saw him throw in the purple lap. He is fast. The fastest car out on the track, but not fast enough. He's only gotten that gap to extend it down to 5.5 seconds. He's running out of time if he's going to try to get a podium in his debut race. As we've got another battle starting to form up. Oh, no! Mystic into the back of Mebe. I did not see any debris. We're getting a good look at his wing. It looks intact. The end plates are there. We'll have to see how the handling is on this Renault after that contact.
All that battling has seen the gap come down between second and third as well. It was 12 seconds. And now it's down to 8.5 roughly.
All right, we're going to take a peek back. We're going to go to the battle of 6th place as Aerostrike closing up on Dano. Both on soft tires. Arrows is a little bit fresher. He's got 3 laps to the good on Dano on the set of tires. Why this is going on too, we've mentioned his name a decent amount because he was involved in that big 6-car battle that we had earlier. But up in 5th place, Axton utilizing that medium on the safety car, having a great run. This is the kind of race that he wanted to have after having that great preseason. But we see Dano and Arrow as Arrow's taking a look going into turn 1. The Renault dives to the inside, and he's got him cleared. Give P6 to Arrow. I was about to say, as both these guys, though, on fresher tires are going, it's going to be close if they can catch Axton before the end of this race. They're going to have a little bit more than 2.5 laps to try to gain 2.5 seconds. Dano at this point trying to stay tucked in behind the Renault, not wanting to waste time battling back and forth if there's another position to be gained.
Chapper and Bubba still battling away for 11th place. It's been happening over the last few laps.
I've been seeing those
back and forth.
I was about to say, I've been seeing those names bounce back and forth, which is kind of surprising considering Chappa on the super softs. Though, I mean, he's got 5 laps on him. Those supers probably go about 8 laps, so with Bubba halfway through his mediums, they probably are just about equal tires, I would think.
Forza's right on the back of Meb once again.
Yep, he's closed backed up with 2 laps to go. Mystic, though, with 3-second penalty to be added at the end of this race. But it wouldn't be the first time in this league that if he can make the pass, that the guy who crosses the line first was not declared winner. That happened twice last season. And it happened for second place last week as well. At this point, though, Bubba is just racing for pride, trying to get that 11th spot as he has racked up, I think it's about 15 seconds worth of track limits right now. So Bubba actually in fear of dropping down to 13th due to all those penalties. Possibly 14th as Bougie is right on the back of Aletti for the battle for 13th. We're keeping the camera out. Oh, really weird. Mebe under braking, got on the curbing. That allowed Mystic to take a look to the inside, but wasn't quite there as Mebe got a strong run off.
Oh, there it is. 3-second penalty for Meb.
Now we're racing heads up for the white flag coming up, and we're experiencing the ghost car of Marquez. This actually might work out for Mebe, Jacko. He's going to get DRS off the ghost car.
You're right.
So, and we saw how fast the Ferrari was as it is. Last time around, here he goes. He's pulling away from the Renault. White flag is out. This is now a heads-up battle for the win. Both drivers with a 3-second penalty. McSendit too far back to have that be of matter now. Though, hats off to Diego, trying his best to close that gap to McSendit. He's almost 3 seconds back. Going into the hairpin, Mystic closes it up. Not quite there, though.
There's the rear.
Yep, big-time wheel spin, holds it. But that gives Mebe a 10th. Forza really strong. Oh no!
Oh,
there's the wing that time. I was about to say Mystic had a great run through that elongated S, carried a ton of speed into turn number 8, and unfortunately locked him up, slid into the back of the Ferrari. That's might be what Mebe needed. The Ferrari driver trying to make it 2 in a row to start the season off. Coming off turn number 13. The Renault has slipstream, but he's 6/10 back. Unless Mebe has issues in this final corner, which he doesn't. He is nice and smooth. And there it is, 2 in a row. Mebe is going to hold off Mystic and claim the victory here at Bahrain. McSendit, after the wheel issues from the safety car, was able to recover. What possibly could have been a win is still a podium for the 2-time champ. Diego, in his debut, he'll cross the line in 4th. Axton, under attack from Arrow, but it's too little too late. Arrow needed another lap. Give the Williams 5th place. Arrow's going to get 6th. Dano 7th. Brian Mosser, he's wheel-to-wheel with Nick Dahi. K-Dog is right behind. These 3 drivers are in the points. It's just a matter of who gets what points. Brian going strong. He's going to get around Dahi. K-Dog's going to try to make one last-ditch effort. He's tucked in. He's going to swing out. Brian's going to get 8th. Dahi 9th. K-Dog will finish 10th. No, Brian
Last 3
had
seconds
points.
for Brian Mosser.
Excuse me, not points. Brian had a time penalty. So there it goes. Our scoreboard getting shuffled up again.
Bubba and Chappa right side by side across the line, but Bubba had the...
Which is fitting for that battle there. Those guys going wheel to wheel the last 5 or 6 laps.
I think Aletti might overtake him. No, Aletti's had a penalty too.
I'll tell you what, why it might be a little aggravating for Mr. Mosser to lose 2 spots crossing the line. However, that is back-to-back point finishes for the young man in the Toro Rosso to start this season. As Bubba holds on to 12th place, Aletti had penalties of his own, so Bubba just did get to be able to hold on to that position by a second. Bougie, who was our hard charger last week at Australia, unfortunately not so much this week. As we look, he still goes +4, but the hard charger is going to go to the Williams of Axton, +9. Had a perfect call at the end of that safety car, took the medium tires, and is able to secure his first top 5 finish.
It looks like Aero saying that he broke his wing on Meb at one stage. So both Renaults, at some point in the race, lost a chunk of their wing against the back of the eventual race winner.
See, you guys don't know this, but Ferrari is secretly sponsored by Target, and it was on the back of his car. And there we go. The champagne is out. Mebe makes it, after going 15 months, he can't go a week. He makes it 2 in a row. Mystic with that great last effort, however, unfortunately, broken wing in Sector 2 on the last lap. Got him a bit short, and then McSendit with a great recovery rounds it out. Diego in his debut, 4th. We talked about Axton goes +9 to round out your top 5. Arrow, Dano, Dahi, K-Dog, and Brian are the rest of your points finishers. And then Chappa, Bubba, Aletti, Bougie, and AB are the rest of your drivers who've finished under their own power. Marquez is disconnected under safety car, or right before safety car, so unfortunately, I guess technically he's the last car running. And then our DNFs, J-Rod, Soldier 6, Aaron Webb, and Ranga to round out the field.
And of course, fastest lap to Diego on debut.
Yes, claims it on those super softs, and he almost caught McSendit. I think maybe if he had another lap, he might have, maybe 2 laps, he may have made it close to McSendit for a podium. But hats off to Diego with a great debut. Majako, dude, I am glad you were here tonight.
I witnessed something, that's for sure.
Wow, dude. Wow.
If anything, the presence of the safety car is a bit of a surprise to me.
I can't
Because
believe
there wasn't that much chaos.
I can't believe it was alive. Like I said, we had a preseason race at Singapore. We sent 6 cars, to the race car gods in the middle of the track, completely disabled. The thing didn't even budge. And then Aaron Webb had his wreck, but Aaron he hit the wall and bounced back onto the racing surface. And the safety car finally came out. For the first time in... Good Lord, I don't remember the last time we saw a safety car. Some point in F1 2016. And there we go. The fireworks are now done. The race is over. Again, we know he doesn't have a working microphone, so we got to give love. Mebe making it 2 in a row to start the season. Absolutely great drive by the Ferrari driver. Did some beautiful defensive driving late in the race, swapping the lead back and forth. That straightaway power was the key to it. All right, so we've got... Actually, so we could go ahead and start our podium interviews a little early with a man we expected on the podium, but maybe not in that 3rd slot. McSendit. Brother, Aaron hopped in chat and said there was a wheel issue. What happened at the safety car?
Yeah, good question, man. Well, first Odom's disconnected, so thought I might have a minute to pause the game and send him an invite back. And it was a little poorly timed because the race was about to start again, but I wanted him back in the race, so I invited him, and I look once I get back to the game screen, I see that my car has not moved an inch since I paused the game. It just parked itself. So that wasn't good. And then once I joined back in, the degrees of rotation on the wheel reset itself. So I had like 1080 degrees, and the car just like wouldn't turn at all. You know, like I'd go full lock and it would only turn like a little bit. So I had to reset it, and by then I'm already back to like 18th. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, but happy I recovered.
I was about to say, I don't know if you know this, champ, but nice guys finish last. All right, there's a little life lesson for you. But no, like you said, you fell all the way back to the back, and I mean, granted, guys in front of you had to pit, but you had a masterful drive. You kept the wing on that car in some crazy battles.
God, I know.
Dude, there was 6-7 car battles that you and Nick were right in the thick of that were just absolutely nuts. Jacko and I losing our minds on commentary.
That's awesome. I'm glad you were watching that.
So, oh, dude, yeah, it was wild for sure. But great job. I mean, I know it's frustrating, but great job on the recovery. Great job on all the battles you had as well, man. And
thanks, man.
What looked to be an easy podium for you was a hard-fought podium for you tonight.
Extremely hard. Extremely hard. And I had Diego breathing down my neck in the last stint, too.
I was about to say,
like,
another lap
I can't
or
even
two.
slip up.
Another lap or two, that would have been spicy.
Yeah.
But fantastic drive tonight, my man. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, man.
And the man who I called by the wrong name many, many times tonight, Mystic. I almost did it again. Mystic, my man. Hell of a drive. Great run there at the end. And then, unfortunately, it's just, you look like you had such a good run going through that S, and you tried to woe up into turn number 8, and it just wouldn't woe up for you.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I knew that he was pretty fast in sector 3, so I had to try to make something happen going into that corner or at the end of the second DRS. But yeah, I don't know. I guess he was having issues with his wheel, and I don't know, his braking point was a little bit different. Or I don't know. I took it too hot. And,
well,
yeah,
I mean,
but
it could be it could be a breaking point too, because one thing we were totally shocked to see. So you chased him down, you got around him, and then he just launched at, he tied a rocket to it with the DRS on that front stretch and just blew by you. We were totally shocked to see that kind of discrepancy on the straightaway speed. So I'm wondering if, he did have that lower downforce to get that speed, and that may have contributed to the different braking points. Yeah, that might have been it. I think on that lap or coming out of the final corner, I don't think I got as good of a run that I should have. He definitely got one hell of a run on me. I tried to cover off the inside, but at that point I didn't going into that or onto that straight, I didn't manage my ERS well enough, so I didn't really have enough of it to try to defend there. And yeah, I was pretty surprised when that happened. I was like, damn, I felt like what was it, Vettel at Spain last season or whatever. He was like, what the hell, but yeah, I was hanging right there with him. I had to reel him back in for a bit, but yeah, all in all, man, it was a good battle. I was not ready for that at all. Because earlier in the race, I almost ran into the back of him going onto the second DRS straight, and kind of like did a half spin, but caught it or whatever, or was about to do a half spin. Yeah, I was about to say, along the lines of an extended, you didn't fall as far back, but you definitely lost some positions early, and likewise, man, you found yourself in a good amount of battles early. Probably weren't, expecting, that much fighting going on, but you made the right call to under the safety car, getting that right tire on, and then made the most of it. Yeah, definitely. I wish the safety car would have came out just a little bit before, because we had just passed the pits too. It would have been pretty nice. But yeah, all in all, a very good race. I was happy with my pace in the race once I finally, got things going. Unfortunate that some people got messed up or screwed over by the safety car,
when I see McSennet's car off to the side, I was like, uh-oh, you know. And then Odom's having connections issues like crazy. Not sure what happened there, but
We can
yeah,
blame
all
it
in
on
all, you know,
Fortnite.
yeah, yeah, Fortnite. Oh man, but good finish. Good finish for my first race of the season.
I was about to say, for a season debut, I mean, great start to it. So, again, you're starting a little bit in the hole missing that first race, but 1 for 1 on podiums, baby. That's how you get back in it.
Yeah, man, definitely.
But it was great to have you back, my man, and thank you for the show that you put on there at the end. That was a lot of fun.
Hey, you know, we all race for that very reason, you know, trying to have awesome battles for the lead, and we all share that passion. So, thanks to you, man.
If only the Europeans shared that mindset. But, and again, now before we wrap up this interview, let's last but not least, he doesn't have the microphone, but we got to give him love. Starting out 2 in a row, Mebe, just a great drive tonight. Some crazy back and forth, some wonder defending at the end. That's 2 in a row for the Ferrari. So congratulations to him. Again, congratulations to Mystic on the runner-up, McSendit on battling back to the podiums. Gentlemen, thank you and congratulations.